Start delaying videos. We have a American missing tales tonight. It's cold out here. And I picked a short mythology read. Got church in the morning. My girlfriend wants me to go to church, y'all. I try to tell her in her foreign land, they still got their churches. She doesn't understand gentrification. And now the church I've been baptized in, they're not speaking any English services. So I'm gonna try to go to one they didn't label English or Spanish to see if it's English. But the 5 that they did post were in Spanish. But I'm gonna try to go early in the morning. It's already early in the morning. So I picked a short mythology. Hitchinna. Hitchinna had a wife and son. A few days old. Hitchinna. The little son was sleeping. And Hitchinna, the wife, was taking care of her child. Hitchinna had dreamed the night before, and his dream was a bad one. I had a dream last night, said he to his wife. A very bad dream. What did you dream? Asked she. I dreamed that I climbed a big pine tree. The tree was full of cones. I was throwing them down. Had thrown down a great many. When at last I threw down my right arm. I dreamed then that I threw down my left arm. He told her no more. That morning early, before she had talked of his dream, the woman said, I should like to have pine nuts. I want to eat pine nuts. I am hungry for pine nuts. He went out to find the nuts, and she went with him, taking the baby. They came to a large pine tree, and he climbed it. Hitchinna put the baby aside on the ground and made a fire at some distance to roast the pine cones. Hitchinna threw down cones. She roasted them to get out the nuts. He threw down a great many cones. She roasted these cones and pounded the nuts out. After a while, Hitchinna's right arm fell off. He threw that to the ground. Then he threw down his left arm. His left leg came off. He threw it down. The next, his right leg dropped off. He threw that to the ground. The woman was roasting and pounding the pine cones. She did not look around for a good while. At last, she went to the tree, found blood on it, and looking up, saw her husband was throwing himself down, that there was not much left of his body. Hitchinna was scared half to death. She ran away home. She was so terrified that she left the little child behind, forgot all about it. When she reached home, she called the people together and said, My husband went up into a pine tree. He threw down a great many pine cones. Then he began to throw himself down. First he threw one arm, then the other. We must hurry and hide somewhere. He will be bad very soon. He will kill us all if he finds us. The people asked, Where can we go to hide from him? North, south, east, or west? I know a good place, said one man, and it is not too far from here. Wamawawi. Well, we must go to that place and go very quickly, said Hitchinna's wife, and all the people agreed with her. The people ran to Wamawawi, which is a round mountain. They ran the whole way and went into a cave in the mountain. When all were inside, they closed the entrance very firmly, shut it up tight. Nothing can get in through the door. After his wife had run home, Hitchinna threw down his ribs one by one and kept asking his wife if she was there. He got no answer. She was gone and did not know it. He threw down first all his ribs of his right side, then all of his left side. Every time he threw a rib, he cried, to his wife. At last, there was nothing left of him on the tree but his head, and that came down soon after. His eyes were very big now, sticking out, staring with a wild and mad look. The head lay under the tree a while. Hitchinna had become another kind of people. He had become a pt.1. He was one of the skull people, a very bad, terrible people. Each one of them is nothing but a skull. Pt.1 is a new now. He has a new mind, new wishes. He is under the tree and lies there a little while. He cannot walk anymore. He can only roll on the ground like a ball. After resting and thinking a while, he starts to find his wife. Rolls till he comes to the fire. There is no woman there. He looks around, cannot find her. Looks again and sees the baby. He rolls to the baby, catches it in his mouth, eats up the baby in one moment. The head talks and says, "I dreamed last night that I ate up my own son." He is dreadful now. He scatters the pine cones, quenches the fire, rages, whirls awfully. A real pt.1. He rolls, bound, knocks against the tree, cuts it down, breaks it into pieces, scatters it. Next he starts for the village, springing and bounding along like a football, making a terrible wind as he goes. Reaches the house, looks through it. All are gone from the house and from the village. All have ran off to Wamawawi. First he looks against his own house, breaks it, smashes it to pieces, and then he breaks all the other houses in the same way. One after another, he scatters and smashes up everything, wrecks the whole village, just as if a strong whirlwind had gone through it. The people are in the Wamawawi, in the stone cave in the mountain. A very great crowd of them. Pt.1 looks around, finds tracks, follows the people southward, goes with a terrible war, raising a storm as he moves. He breaks everything he strikes, except rocks. From these he bounds off like a football. He follows the people of the village, follows on their tracks, stops before Wamawawi, rolls up to the entrance, listens quietly, hears a sound inside like the buzzing of bees, but the guy is glad. He stops a while and thinks what to do. "You cannot go from me now," says he. All the people were inside except Metsi. He had gone north somewhere. "I will break in the cave," said pt.1. He began at the west side, went back a whole mile, bounded, rushed, and hurled himself at the mountain, whisked through the air with the noise like the loudest wind, struck the mountain, made a great hole in it, but could not get through the cave. Pt.1 felt sure that he could break it through. He went back a whole mile again from the north side, bounded, rushed forward, made a tremendous hole in the north side, but he could not go through, and the rock closed again. The people inside are glad now. They are laughing. They think themselves safe. Jeer at Pt.1. Pt.1 hears them. He is angrier than ever. He is raging. I would try the east side, said he. That is better. He went back as before, bounded forward, made a deep hole in the east, but it was closed again, and he left it. He tried the south. It was just like the other sides. But the guy stops a while, is afraid that he cannot get in, that he cannot get at the people. The Yan are not very wise, said he. I should like to know who told them what to do. They did not know themselves. Who told them to go to Wamawawi? He tried to go to the top of the mountain and make a hole there. He could not roll up in any way. He felt back each time he tried. He could travel on the level ground only. He could only rise by bounding. I cannot go up there. I am not stable, he said. He lay down to the entrance of the cave and thought a while. He made up his mind to bound like a ball, to spring from point to point, higher and higher on the neighboring mountains, till he got very high, and then come down on top of Wamawawi. He did this, went far up on the top of the other and higher mountains, till at last he was very high. Then, with a great bound, he came down to the top of Wamawawi, came down with a terrible crash. He made an awfully big hole in it. Bigger than all the 4 holes he made in the sides put together. And this hole did not close, but it did not reach the cave. After that blow, he came again to the level ground. He lay there and said to himself, I have tried 5 times to get at those people. I will try once more. I may get at them this time. He went up high in the sky, higher than before. He was angrier and madder than ever, and he came down with a louder crash. The whole mountain shook and trembled. No one inside the cave was laughing now. All the people were terrified. But the guy went almost through to the cave. The rock above the people was very thin after a thin blow, and the hole did not close again. I will not try any more, said Putakaya. I cannot get at the people. He was discouraged and left Wamawawi. All the people within were in terror. If he tries once more, we are lost, they said. He will burst through and eat us. Eat every one of us. The great hole remained on the top of the mountain, and the people say that there is a lake up there now with goldfish in it. But the guy started north, went toward Pulsha, his own village. As he went toward home, he made a great roaring wind, cut down trees and brush, people, beasts, everything he met. He left a clean road behind. He swept through Pulsha and went farther north, went almost through Jigolimatu. Messi was coming down to the south along the same trail. He was very well dressed. Messi always dressed well. He wore a splendid elkskin belt and a hairnet. He was fine looking. Messi was right in the middle of the trail. He had learned that Putakaya was out killing people in the south. He heard of the roar of a great way off and said to himself, I hear Putakaya, he is killing all the people. Messi thought over what he was to do. I would meet him. I would say to Putakaya, you are smart, you are good, but you are sick. I will kill you. Messi looked off with his fine clothes in a hurry and hid them, made himself naked. I must be quick, said he. The noise and wind are coming nearer and nearer. I wish a rusty old basket to be here before me. The basket was there. He wished for an old strap to carry it. The old strap was there with the basket. Messi made buckskin rings around his arms and legs, turned himself into an old and very old woman, all bent and wrinkled, with the buckskin petticoat. He put the rusty basket on his back. Putakaya was hurrying on. The roar grew louder and nearer. Metsi knew that Potokaya was very dangerous and that he must be careful. He took white clay, painted his face, made a regular old woman of himself. Potokaya came near. Metsi was ready, the basket on his back and the stick in his hand. He was walking along slowly, a very old woman and decrepit. The old woman began to cry, in. But the Potokaya stopped on the road, made no noise, listened to the old woman. He has stopped. He is listening to me, said Metsi. And he cried more, cried in a louder voice and more pitifully. But the Potokaya was quiet. Metsi walked right up to him, looked at him and said, I came near stepping on you. Metsi was crying more quietly now. Are you a dead person? Asked Metsi. But the Potokaya was silent. I heard you from where I was, said Metsi. When you had a bad dream, I heard you in the south. Heard you everywhere. Heard you on when you turned to be a Potokaya, one of the head people, and wanted to kill everybody. You used to be good. You used to be wise. But you are sick. You will die and be among the people no longer unless you are cured. That is why I started to come south. I started south to find you, to see you. It is a good thing that you came up here. Now I see